All right, we're on live. Welcome to the very first episode. Maybe the only one. Hopefully not the only one. Probably not the only one. We like to bullshit too much and make this the only episode. But this is the first episode of Keyboard Warriors, brought to you by CrossBonesMMA. Basically, what we do on this show is be keyboard warriors. We talk shit the whole time. It's basically you get an excuse to say whatever the fuck you want about any fucking thing you want, and just around the topics of MMA. And maybe we drift off some other bullshit, whatever. So of course. It's me, Eddie Law, and today with me I have my boy Fred. What's up, Fred?
What's happening, Eddie? What's happening?
Oh, same old man. But and then in about I want to say 10 minutes or so, Nick from Crossbones is gonna join us, and you'll get your first look at Nick. I think his handle is Nick X Micro on Twitter or something like that. But all right, let's get it started here. We're gonna let's talk about Vanderlei actually. So Vanderlei Silva was supposed to appear at Bellator 131. And it's a weird thing for me because when I saw the articles, a lot of MMA websites were saying that we're making it look like he was gonna fight, like he was signing with Bellator to fight. All he was gonna do was promote. But the one question everybody had, myself included, was what the hell, what about his UFC contract, So what do you think about the whole Vanderlei thing?
Well, first off, exactly like you said, man. The very first time I seen the headline, I thought he was going to fight, and I thought, well, okay, there's no way this is going to fucking happen. Like, he definitely can't fight for sure. Then I read the article, and it's like, yeah, he was just coming there to promote or whatever. But I don't know. I'm so fucking over the Vanderlei thing, and it kind of blows, man, because Vanderlei was such a, like, such a great guy, such a great fighter. Everybody loved Vanderlei, and it just seems like he's totally fucking losing his fan base at this point with all this bullshit. Like, he seems like such a scorned ex-broad of mine, like of course now he's going to run the Bellator, and it's so typically fucking predictable that it's kind of almost annoying at this point with him. Like, of course he did. Like, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with me is I like Vanderlei. I enjoyed his fights. I'm a Vanderlei Silva fan. But this shit is getting old now, Like, he came up with that first video where he was, the retirement video, but he said all this stuff about how he enjoyed fighting and he was very happy about his career and all that. And then he, goes on this huge anti-UFC rant, which is totally okay. Do your thing, Vanderlei. You have your opinion. You're a professional. Do your thing. However, this is just getting too weird. It's too much, Vanderlei. Chill the fuck out. And I'm not saying by any means. I'm not saying go retire, go hang out and get off of TV or whatever. You want to go do TV shit, fine. You want to join Bellator, fine. But don't make it the circus that it's become, because it's become a circus, and it's hard for me to support a lot of his bullshit now.
Well, and it's like he's fucking detached with reality, man. Vanderlei knows what's up, dude. You're under contract, bruh. What you fucking think the UFC's just all of a sudden let you go fucking start promoting Bellator shit? Did you see Randy Couture? Did he get the Fedor fight, Jack? Like, we know how this story ends, man. You're not going to go fuck the UFC. You might as well just wake the fuck up and, you fucked up, bro. But you know what I like about Chael Sonnen? Is at least the fucking guy was just like, hey, you caught me, Jack. I fucking tried to. Now I fucking retire. Fuck all of y'all. You can't do nothing to me. I quit. I'm going to go do. I mean, at least he fucking kind of took credit. Vanderlei talking shit and pointing fingers is just, like you said, man, it's getting weird and old. I'm over it. Like, I don't want to. Do your thing, man. Admit you was wrong. Serve your suspension, and then go fucking stomp people's brains out in Japan somewhere, and we'll all be cool to watch it. Like,
yeah. And speaking of Chael might have given everybody the biggest fuck you ever. And I mean, specifically to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, right, with that whole shit. But the biggest fuck you ever, because first he gets popped, and he he gets popped and he ends up retiring and whatnot, and then then he comes on and gets popped again, and the UFC fires him, but so does Fox, right? Which didn't make any sense to me, because I said it was not like, it's not going to help his broadcasting. Sure, it kind of fucked with his reputation quite a bit, actually, but because of the fact that the first shit he got popped for was that, in order to have kids and whatnot. The second thing he popped for was HGH and EPO, which is strictly performance-enhancing drugs. So it was fucking hilarious now that he's joined with ESPN. I mean, come the fuck on. I mean, think about it. Okay, first you pop, right? And you go in front of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, you do this whole sob story, almost a sob story, and I'm gonna help you guys. I'll help the fighters. Just mercy on me, mercy on me. Okay, we'll ban you for a year, 2 years, whatever the fuck it was. And then he literally walked out of that fucking room and was like, "Fuck you guys, I'm gonna go do whatever the fuck I want now." And he's basically off to ESPN. And I mean, if there's any story that's funnier than Chael's, I don't know whose it would be. Hey Nick, what's up, dude? I just saw you. Sorry.
What's up?
All right, joining us now is Nick, from also from CrossBonesMMA. Nick, we're talking about first we're talking about Wanderlei Silva and how ridiculous he's basically become with all this bullshit. But now Chael Sonnen with a big fuck you to everybody, basically, especially Nevada State Athletic Commission. Now joining the ESPN, and it's all I know weird. Let's start with Fred. Fred, what's your take on this whole thing with Chael and ESPN?
Honestly, it makes perfect sense to me, man. Chael is this fucking guy. I don't know what it is about this guy. The biggest fucking cheater in the world, embraces it, owns it, and it's like nobody cares. It doesn't surprise me at all. Of course he went to ESPN. Like, he cheated, retired, said fuck you to Fox, and just got on with ESPN. It's almost not surprising at all. Like, Chael has this way of just getting by, man. And to go back to the earlier point, maybe it's got to do with the fact that he just kind of owns it, runs with it, and I don't know, man. Maybe people respect that. I doubt Wanderlei gets any calls from ESPN anytime soon.
And then the big difference too is Wanderlei was clearly full of shit, and he clearly lied about a lot of quite a few things. Dale lied about a bunch of shit, and then he was like, you got me. Yeah, you're right. I fucked up. I owned it. I don't know if you guys listen to his podcast, but he has maybe like 3 or 4 episodes now. But in one of them, he was talking about how he owned it. He's like, yeah, I admit it. Okay, I did it. It was my choice. I chose to do this shit. You know what I mean? So that I find that fucking hilarious. But what do you think, Nick? What's your take on Chael to ESPN and the fuck you to Fox and the UFC a bit?
I love it. I love Chael in general. I read it. I love his book. I love him as a kind of I shouldn't say love. I don't love a guy, but he great personality. Great personality. The face of MMA basically for ESPN now, and I think he was thinking with his wallet more than anything. Like, okay, either go back to Fox possibly, or go to ESPN, the biggest sports thing in the world, and be the face of MMA. I love it. And I don't know, he's lied about taking drug or popping pills and everything like that, whatever his steroids shit, and then made fun of Wanderlei for doing it, and then it's like, oh yeah, I did it too. I'm sorry. Well, I guess I'm a hypocrite now. But I don't know. I love Chael. I like it. I'm gonna be watching for sure, and I like his podcast too. His podcast is pretty sick.
Yeah, he's actually he had one with GSP. That's another thing that was weird when he had GSP on. I think MMAfighting.com, or I don't want to attribute it to someone and say what I'm about to say, but somebody went on there and started kind of saying like, is GSP a traitor for going on Chael's podcast, or is he something along the lines of is it bad that GSP went on Chael Sonnen's podcast, especially when one of GSP's friends just got busted with a ton of drugs. And so I thought it was a stupid article, but I mean, how do you get to that point? Like, it's like, oh, GSP, you're an asshole because you hung out with Chael. I mean, yeah, maybe he was the golden boy MMA. Now he's, he was hanging out with the gangster, the American gangster of MMA. And so, what I wonder about Chael though is if he's gonna take that persona to ESPN, because ESPN is the most PC place on the planet. You can't say the word stupid or damn on that show without a bunch of moms groups hitting you up and Mandy, you get taken off the air. So, I mean, is he gonna keep the same persona? I hope so, because I like to see real guys, real people. But what do you think, Fred?
I don't know. I gotta ask you guys quickly though before we go on.
Yeah.
What do you think about this dude doing steroids? I mean, it seems almost like getting popped for steroids in MMA means zero. Like, listen, I like Chael too. I think that he changed the game in MMA as far as the way you promote a fight go. Like, people get it now, and they realize what just, kind of promoting your fight verbally can do. But the dude fucking cheated, man, in a major way. And a lot of the success that he had, looking back on it, let's not fucking kid ourselves, was probably when he was getting away with being juiced up. I mean, how much does this really, like you said, now he's with ESPN. Are we just going to ignore the fact that this dude was one of the biggest cheaters in the fucking? He's our fucking Lance Armstrong, man. Like he, I fuck with Chael, but like, I mean, at what point do we not got to put this dude's foot over the fire and go, yo, bro? And I like that he admits it, but that almost it doesn't negate the fact that you're still a fucking major cheater. Like you might have sucked without the juice. Like what? I don't know. I just, how much does it really matter? Does it?
Nick?
Well, I don't know. Look at Vitor. Vitor's done it too, and he's still in the UFC. I don't know how he's still in the UFC, but I don't know. That's crazy. I like Chael. He's awesome, but I think ESPN is taking a risk knowing what he did and knowing that everyone knows what he did. And like you said, Eddie, they have to be G-rated. Guaranteed if they say stupid, mom's groups are all over their ass and Chael's out the door again. But I think Chael's going to dumb it down a little bit, and yeah, he's going to have his little witty one-liners, but it's Chael. But I don't think he's going to stay with ESPN that long. I think he's going to fuck up like he does every other place. He's going to fuck up eventually.
He's gonna do what he does now. But yeah, I mean, I think the fact that he did steroids, it's a big deal. But the reason he gets away with it is because he is Chael Sonnen. I mean, the bad boy. I mean, you could almost call him the bad boy of MMA. You know, Tito Ortiz tried to be that guy. It didn't work out because he's not funny. He doesn't have much of a personality. You know, you watch Tito Ortiz talk. You know, you kind of get bored. You want to throw a brick at the guy's face because he's a fucking idiot. But you know, Chael Sonnen, he's got a personality. He's fun. He's relatable. You know, that's the guy you want to go have a beer with. That's the guy you want to go hang out with. So it's like, yeah, so he did steroids once or twice or 30 times. So what? Not a big deal. You know, he's still a good guy. He's my guy. He's my guy. You know. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'll admit it. I don't give a shit if Chael did, still doing steroids now. I don't give a fuck. I mean, the dude is just is entertaining guy. So he gets away with that whole, I did steroids thing. But where it's going to affect them is in history, because that asterisk, history does not fuck with. I mean, let's look at baseball real quick. Barry Bonds holds the record for most home runs, and there's a huge asterisk next to his fucking record. Chael Sonnen's going to have one next to his name because that guy will likely be in the UFC Hall of Fame. Let's forget the fact that the Hall of Fame, the UFC has is total bullshit because there should be an MMA one, but it's going to stick with Chael Sonnen forever, just the fact that he did steroids. But with the fans, unless you really dislike Chael for whatever reason, you're not going to give a shit, really.
Okay, well, not to jump completely off topic here, though, but what about a couple other guys? Is it just Chael? Is it just the fact that he's the type of guy that rubs you the right way? When another guy pops positive for steroids, are you kind of like, okay, fuck this guy, he's a cheater, I don't fuck with him no more? Or is it kind of just like, hey, you got busted. We'll see you in a year. Like Nick said, Vitor gets popped. This fucker still probably won't make the Chris Weidman fight.
Yeah.
And we still love the dude. So I don't know. It almost seems like with MMA, steroids are just kind of fuck it. Like we just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, with Vitor's a legend and everything, but I agree with what you're saying. But again, Vitor isn't loved really by anybody unless you were fucking with him from the very beginning. People that seen what he did before, what he did to Rockhold, what he did to Bisping and all those guys. Unless you were a Vitor, like a big time Vitor fan, you're probably not going to be a huge fan of his. Like I stopped being a Vitor fan, once he got busted with the roids back in the day, right? And when he came back and went on this streak that he went on with TRT and everything, I was very like, yeah, okay, now he's gonna come back, start whooping everybody's ass like that. That's too damn obvious. But what do you think, Nick?
Well, yeah, you have Vitor, who obviously has his thing, and then I was just thinking about what was it, Bigfoot? Bigfoot got caught with it for that awesome Mark Hunt fight, and then Dana still parades around with that Hunt versus Silva 2 shirt, and it's like giving him props for having a great fight even though he was juiced. It's TRT and the steroid thing, it's an iffy topic in the UFC, and there's going to obviously be those favorites like Bigfoot, and then there's Vitor, and then there's Chael, who's over here just leaving the UFC now. Like he's suspended. Well, doesn't Bellator want him? Didn't I read that right? That Bellator wants to sign Chael, but he can't compete at all, right?
I'm sure everyone wants to sign Chael. I think even WWE was trying to get this motherfucker. He was like, "Oh, give me five." You know, you can see Vince McMahon offering this motherfucker money. Which, by the way, look, I'm not a huge pro wrestling fan. I haven't watched wrestling since I was like 8. You know, because that's when you stop watching wrestling when you're a kid, I guess. But I'll fuck with like the WrestleManias once in a while around
Yeah.
if someone has them on. But regardless, he'd be perfect for that. But I mean, Bellator could ask to get him once his suspension's over. But what is he going to be 40 years old by the time that shit happens?
Yeah.
So.
Just have
Nah,
him commentate or something like. No.
maybe I would love. Look, I don't know if you guys saw Battlegrounds where him and Jr. Jim Ross him and Jim Ross commentated Battlegrounds that one night tournament thing. They did a really good job. I could see Chael commentating for a small organization, like a ONE FC or a World Series of Fighting or something. But he could do that. But now he's gonna be on ESPN. I mean, you're about to see Chael daily. And I mean, as long as they're talking fighting, it's going to be Chael Sonnen because they don't have anybody else with any credibility. And ESPN was probably just like, licking their chops to get Chael on their team because you're talking about an entertaining guy with a personality, with a resume, even if he was cheating during the resume, but with a resume, and a little bit of credibility that he has left. It's not going to matter to mainstream fans. It's going to matter to us because he could shit just like Fred was saying. It's like he could shit talk that Vanderlei was on drugs and all that shit, and that Vitor was on drugs and whatnot. But guys like us, we're going to be like, shut the fuck up, dude. You were doing it too. I don't want to hear that bullshit. But the casual fans not going to give a shit. They're just not going to care.
True.
But,
I think most casual fans probably won't even fucking know. They're going to tune in. They're going to say, that's the dude that almost kicked Anderson Silva's ass. They're going to hit him. He's super eloquent. He's super likable. I mean, I can see why the dude was in politics for a while. I can also see why he got a little greedy in politics. You know how this fucking guy is. That's totally chill. What the fuck? But he's definitely got one of those personalities. I mean, like you said, all things considered, I'll be down to watch him. I mean, he does this shit well. He'll be doing a pretty great job for ESPN. And like you said, ESPN was probably stoked to have him.
Yeah, he's a big get for ESPN, and I've been kind of anti ESPN for a while because they grab on, and it has everything to do with football because they grab on to the big names. Like when Tim Tebow came in the NFL, they were all about Tim Tebow and just waiting for him to come on. When Johnny Manziel got drafted to the Browns, they were just waiting for Hoyer to fuck up, just waiting for that first interception by Hoyer to put that camera on Johnny Football and be like, oh, when's going to come in or whatever. But ESPN's got their own issues. But getting Chael for MMA, huge get. Now, here's the thing. I mean, does this mean they're going to actually start covering shit? Because they haven't covered MMA in anywhere near a competent level ever. So now that they're spending big money on Chael, because Chael's going to cost them fucking money. Are they going to start covering MMA? That's are they going to cover all MMA, just UFC, Bellator, WSF, the big ones? I mean, it's to be seen. It should be it'll be fun to see because I like I said, I like watching Chael, but ESPN, get your shit together first of all, and start promoting some MMA shit because it's the fastest growing sport, I think besides soccer now, and let's go back to Vanderlei real quick before we go on. With the Vanderlei thing, he was supposed to, he was going to be at the weigh-ins for Bellator 131. He was supposed to be, doing a bunch of promotion for them. And then Coker, and I think it was Scott Coker announced that it was canceled due to prior contractual obligations. Now, Twitter went off. Twitter was like, why doesn't the UFC just let him go? He already retired and all this shit. If you're the UFC, do you think the UFC sticking it to him? Like, Fred, do you think the UFC sticking it to Vanderlei Silva? Like, all right, Dick, you want to put that shit out? Contract, bitch, what's up?
Fuck yeah, they are. and I mean, does anybody know who Dana White is? Like, this is what he does. Vanderlei came out and started a fight, as DW likes to say. And when Vanderlei put out that big smear video, that was cute, but he started a fight. Is he out of his fucking mind? Did he really think that he was going to get to slander the UFC like that, and then they was going to let him breach his fucking contract and go promote Bellator? That's what I mean. It's almost silly at this point. I don't know what the fuck. Vanderlei, all due respect, is a fighter, but whoever his PR guy is or his manager, somebody needs to step in and say, this was clearly never going to work in the first place. the UFC had no reason to let him go do this. Certainly not after he bashed them in public. I mean, of course they're not going to let him do that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Nick.
I think Vanderlei forgot how to color in the lines and shit because that doesn't make any sense. It's a damn contract. Like you think, like Fred said, you think you're just gonna walk into Bellator and be like, "Hey, can I join?" and fuck that contract? No, UFC's gonna be like, "Hey, remember this piece of paper right here? Remember this? Yeah, you're still ours, bitch. So come back over here and sit down and take your time out like a man." And I don't know. Eventually he'll be in Bellator. Don't get me wrong. He'll probably be in Bellator and do that whole thing with Tito Ortiz and bring a masked man in and pull off the mask on somebody. But you never know. It's just it's so stupid. I don't get it. It's
Yeah, no, but well, Vanderlei, he's lifetime banned from Nevada. First of all, that was harsh as shit. Okay.
yeah.
He should have. You know who should have gotten as a lawyer? Chael Sonnen. Should have called Chael and be like, "Hey man, you want to speak for me? Because your ass only got 2 years, and you're a bigger asshole than I am. So, he should have gotten Chael to just come in like, hey, buddy, do me a favor. I know we got in a fight on Tough Brazil and all this shit, but come on, help me out here, right? But, yeah, that lifetime ban was a bit much. He should be going overseas to fight because he clearly still wants to fight. He was talking shit on that video of, they took away my love for the sport, but I still want to be I'm still a fighter, so I'm still a warrior. I still want to fight. Go to Brazil, dude. Ain't no UFC's not the fucking governing board there. Go to Japan. Go and not to mention, if he went to Japan, he'd make bank. All right, those people still love them some Vanderlei Silva. They remember all that fake ass streak he went on where he was all juiced up. So, it's just I don't know. I get disappointed every time I see Vanderlei out now. I wish he would just take a break, but I mean, Dana White's loving this shit where he's just he's just holding on to that contract. He probably has it framed and shit over his fireplace in Vegas. Like he would need a fucking fireplace in Vegas, but he's probably just loving this shit. But do you guys know how those contracts work? Like now, because look, they're usually like 5-10 fight contracts, but he can't fight anymore. So do you guys know if there's like a time limit or something, Fred?
I'll tell you what. If there is a time limit, it's quite a while. I mean, the UFC knows their shit. Randy Couture tried to pull this stunt years ago with Fedor, and it's not going to work, man. The UFC's been at this quite a while. They know how to write their contracts. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a time limit of some kind, but it's probably 1.5 to 3 years or some shit. Long enough to where Vanderlei will be damn near irrelevant and old as fuck by then. Like, they're not – whatever they had him in was a big contract. The reality of the situation is this. Vanderlei fucked up big time. And he might as well, like Dude said, just sit down like a big boy and take his fucking punishment, and then, like you said, go on over to Asia and get a couple squash matches and get paid, and I mean, I don't know what he really expects. It's a contract. He's got to adhere to it, man, and it's going to. There's no getting out of it. I'm sure there's a time limit, but I'm sure it's probably a lengthy one.
It's got to be. He's a big name. He's a moneymaker for the UFC. That guy was a draw. Anytime
Right.
you heard Vanderlei Silva going to fight that, you're watching that shit. I mean, I sure did. Yeah. So that'll be. I mean, we'll see what happens with Vanderlei. Now, speaking of Bellator, they have that Bellator 131. They have Bonner against Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz came out and said that he got he basically, this is the quote that he gave MMA Weekly. He said, quote, and I sneakily on my side, I got fight manager Dave Thomas to sign Bonner. Dave Thomas signed him, and we had to think of something to make him believe that Dave Thomas doesn't like me, that Paul Herrera didn't like me. Paul Herrera was going to coach him, and Stephan Bonner bait the line, hook and sinker. He thought in his own mind that all of his guys were against me, and I fooled him. Basically saying that he planted the seed in his own mind to get him over to Bellator to fight. I don't think Tito Ortiz is that smart. I really don't. I think Tito Ortiz coming out with another fucking wrestling angle to get Bonner, to get paid and get more viewers. I mean, look, let's be real. Bellator isn't in the pay-per-view business for a reason, because no one's fucking paying for that shit. Okay? I love Bellator. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I love watching Bellator. I love that it's on free TV, especially because they're good fighters, but they're not great fighters, right? You can count on one hand how many great fighters they really have. UFC is loaded with everybody, and that's just how the game is right now. But Tito Ortiz trying to get those views up, and hey, good for him. Do what you got to do. But come on, Tito. You expect me to fucking believe that you're that fucking smart? Come on, son. I don't know. What do you think, Fred?
No, I would bet my left testicle that Tito Ortiz. There's, and Tito's fucking cheesy as fuck too. This I read that earlier today too, and I was kind of like, yeah, okay, like you sent a mole into Stephen Bonner's camp, like I don't know, I don't even really like kind of like you said, he's going to try to play up the angle, the pro wrestling angle a little bit, and try to drum up some interest for this fight, which is almost pretty much completely irrelevant. I do like Bellator too. I enjoy their fights. They do got some good fighters. There'll be some fun fights on that card this weekend actually, but I don't know. I read it and it was all just kind of it's like the fucking Twilight Zone. Vanderlei thinks he's just going to walk into Bellator. Tito's hiring moles. He's a CIA. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it all kind of sounded like some nonsense to me, man.
Yeah, Nick.
I hate this pro wrestling shit so much. It's I love Bellator. Don't get just like you said, Eddie. I love free MMA on TV. I get to watch some good fights. I get to watch King Mo. I get to watch Bobby Lashley. I get to watch some good fights. But their whole main big time fight thing pisses me off. Like bringing Stephen Bonner in, have a guy in a mask, that whole bullshit was so stupid. And then now I have a mole, and he's going to tell me what the hell you're doing. I'm going to whoop your ass because I already know what the hell you're going to do. And I planned this shit. Bullshit, Tito. Bullshit. Just go see what's your porn star wife's name. Go sit down next to her and... Well, no, wait. Aren't they divorced now? Yeah,
no. They're divorced. But the funny thing about it is his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, whatever. I think ex-girlfriend is Jenna Jameson, and I think they had 2 kids together. And I can't tell who's crazier. I don't know if you guys have been on her Twitter at all.
Yeah.
And she shit talks Tito and puts up pictures of medication and weird shit, insinuating that he drugs and whatnot. I mean, like I said, I don't know who's nuttier, him or her. I mean, they belong together at that point.
Maybe they planned it together. Maybe she planned the mole thing, and then he was like, yeah, that's right. Maybe we should get back together, and I could beat you again. God damn it, Tito.
This is going to happen. I'm telling you right now. In the middle of the cage, Tito's going to suplex Bonner. We'll knock him out, and he'll pin him. He'll pin him 1, 2, 3, and then Jenna James is going to come back in, and they'll be in love again. It'll be like a fucking WWE all over again. That's what's going to happen, right? God damn it. Come on, Bellator, stop that shit. But at the same time, it's going to attract those wrestling fans. It's going to attract at least some wrestling fans, not all of them. Not the way Brock Lesnar attracted wrestling fans to the UFC when he came over, but it's going to attract some of the wrestling fans because wrestling fans, for example, a lot of MMA journalists, like Helwani and a few others, they love wrestling, pro wrestling, and hey, do you, go for it. But a lot of their own opinions are so tainted by the pro wrestling angle shit. They love storylines. They love the angles. They don't really, you never hear Helwani talk about actual fighting. You know what I mean? He doesn't really talk about technique. You'll hear him talk to he was talking to Renzo Gracie not too long ago, and Helwani was talking about, yeah, I'm not a big jiu-jitsu guy, I just like MMA. I'm just like, the fuck are you talking about? The history of MMA? Jiu-jitsu is MMA. What are you talking about? You should know this shit. So, a lot of those guys come from that pro wrestling angle, but to use it in a promotional way, I think it hurt Bellator more than it helped it. It's gonna help the views by a little bit, but they're gonna have this reputation of we put on acts to try to get people to watch. Check us out, we're dancing like monkeys now.
Exactly. So, well, let's go back to the UFC with that one. You have, like you said, Helwani's always like, I want that person to say something, call someone out. That's that pro wrestling shit. I want why can't I think flyweight Demetrius Johnson to call him out. I want him to call someone out. I want him to be the face. Well, he's not that person. He's the guy that's technique, mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, all that stuff. He's a martial artist. He's not going to be he's humble. He's not going to say, I want to call out this guy because he said something about my mom. No, he's not going to do that. That's not that pro wrestling shit. It's mixed martial arts, man. You have martial artists who are humble and not going to be, except you have Chael Sonnen, obviously. You have Michael Bisping and them, but it happens sometimes, but it's not going to be all the damn time.
You know what? I actually tend to like that though, man. I do like the not necessarily. I don't like the over the top bullshit, but like Conor McGregor, him I love. I do like people that can get you I mean, I obviously respect the martial arts and all of the martial arts that come along with it, but I do enjoy somebody who can. But there's a, I don't know, man. There's a fine line between coming across as fucking annoyingly fake and cheesy, and having that Muhammad Ali aura about you, where you're just talking shit and then you're kind of doing things. And even Ronda Rousey kind of has that vibe to her, man. When she speaks, she's cocky and arrogant, yet she's a bad motherfucker. And people are like, "Yo, listen." When she says something, it is interesting. Not to say that everybody should have to be like that, but I enjoy that part of it. Bellator, just what the fuck, man? Almost Tito Ortiz put a mole in Stephen Bonner's. Stephen Bonner's got more footage on the internet than Jenna Jameson does. I mean, what kind of secrets are you going to learn about Stephen Bonner that you don't already fucking know? Like, the dude, come on, man, it's silly. Fuck.
Yeah, no. The thing with Bellator too is a lot of their big fighters are former UFC guys, which makes it even more of a circus because Bellator's competing with the UFC. So they want to compete with the UFC. They want to stake their claim to in the MMA world, and they're doing it with former UFC guys that are now acting like pro wrestlers. Now, Fred, I do get your point with Conor, and like he's the same as Chael basically, but those guys are real. Like those guys are real.
Yeah.
I mean, Conor McGregor says, "I'm going to finish you in the first round," and what does he do? He goes out and finishes the fuckers in the first round. Ronda Rousey speaks her mind at all times. How do you know it's real? Because she has pissed off some motherfuckers left and right. She's real. Because she's not going to be PCing anything. So I mean, fuck it. Personality over fake pro wrestling stuff. I think Bellator should let their fighters be themselves. And if they're like Conor, like Chael, but I think they have those guys, and Bellator have that pressure. Come on, from Bellator, from themselves, from whoever, to say, come on, you guys got to help us get more viewers. Tito, you have so many followers on Twitter. Yeah. Viacom.
That's where the pressure's coming from, and you're right. That's absolutely what it is. They're like, they need a Tito Ortiz. They need those big names. They don't give a fuck if Tito Ortiz is 9,000 years old. He's going to bring in so many eyeballs strictly because of his name. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what it is. And I think Bellator should kind of, and Viacom for that matter, should kind of know their role. You know what I mean? To quote the great Rock, know your role and shut your mouth, man. Like, you are fucking a faraway number 2. Don't try to compete. Just try to go with the program, man. Find your niche, find your spot, become a comfortable number 2. Half of your stars are ex-UFC washouts. Like, just know your role and then and cater to that niche that you can fill.
Well, yeah. Do you guys think it could be? Well, Viacom lost TNA Wrestling, their little pro wrestling thing. Do you think maybe they're trying to enforce some of that stuff over the Bellator, since they have King Mo's a part of TNA, Bobby Lashley's the TNA champion? Maybe they're trying to bring a little bit of that to Bellator. Maybe, I don't know.
I didn't even know they lost TNA. I mean, I did not know that shit. I mean, what happened? They went out of business, or they just TNA moved somewhere else?
I think the views were just not there, so Viacom's like, well, you're done at the end of the year. Here we go. And I think they're not even showing TNA now on TV. I think it's on an online subscription or on their website or something like that. I don't know. I haven't done my full research, but I know TNA is gone from Spike TV.
And here's the sad truth, man. TNA is to the WWE as Bellator is to the UFC.
Yeah.
Man, the reason TNA went the way of the dinosaurs is because the WWE is the fucking WWE, man. And it's the same kind of connection with Bellator and the UFC. On one hand, and let me say this too, quite frankly, I think I tend to disagree with a lot of the MMA community on this, man. A lot of people make the argument that there needs to be a number 2 organization, a rival, a WCW to the WWF or what have you. And on one hand, I get that argument because, fighters are going to get paid more. They've got an alternative. It breeds competition. I get all that shit. I don't want to see Peyton Manning playing in the Canadian Football League. I'm sorry, I just don't. We went through this shit with Fedor, and now, you got a few guys in Bellator that, fuck, man, now we're going through it again. And, Bellator is going to snag up some prospects. It's just like there's this constant thing now where there's always going to be a few great fighters. Ben Askren is in fucking Bangkok, China, and ONE FC doing whatever he's doing. Fuck, man. That shit kind of annoys me. I like the competition, but I wish we could just get, if you're that good, you should not be fucking fighting nowhere else but in the motherfucking UFC.
Yeah, and the whole thing with Ben Askren is just weird itself. I mean, that guy. I mean, has anyone else talked themselves away from the UFC more than Ben Askren? How does he want to be like, oh, I'm the best welterweight in the world? Like, I want to take on the best, but fuck you, UFC, fuck you, Dana White. Really? I mean, come on. How are you gonna be talking yourself out of that shit? At some point, he's gonna get tired of fighting nobodies and no names in ONE FC and in China, Vietnam, or some hole in Thailand or something. But he's gonna have to find his way to the UFC if he really wants to prove he's the best. Not, and regardless of what your opinion is on that, as far as if he's the best or not, or if he's even worth bringing to the UFC, it's talking yourself out of his spot. It's fucking ridiculous, Just like Fred said, we don't want to see Peyton Manning in the Canadian Football League,
No.
And if Peyton Manning starts talking himself out of the NFL, you might see him in the Canadian Football League. You never know. But I don't know. Ben Askren's a fucking weirdo. I don't like his personality at all. He's to where Chael's an asshole and entertaining. Ben Askren's an asshole and annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just, I don't know. That's what I think. But let's what's up?
I was gonna say something, but I know it's gonna piss you off. That's how I see the Diaz brothers. God damn it, I love the Diaz brothers. I love the Diaz brothers, but just the shit that they say, I'm just like, god damn, just go in the cage and fight. I love seeing you fight, but god damn.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, I love the Diaz brothers. Those are my guys, man. In fact, I got tickets to UFC 13. I was on the fence. I was on the fence until I heard Nate Diaz was gonna fight, and then I hit buy on those fucking things. Cause I'm going to that shit. But yeah, I mean that's a good point, definitely. But I don't know. We'll see what Ben Askren does. But this weekend, because I know it's getting late for you guys, so let's talk about this weekend. There's 3 events this weekend. We got World Series of Fighting. We got Bellator 131. It's World Series of Fighting 15, Bellator 131, and UFC 180. Which one of the 3 would you rather watch? Let's start with Fred. Sorry.
Motherfuckers are going to start calling me a Zupa zombie, but UFC 180, man, all day long. Like I'm watching the NFL. If I'm watching, I will make it a point to watch the big fights from those other events. I'm going to watch Justin Gaethje and Melvin Guillard. I'm super stoked for that. I'll probably watch the Asian wall install Yushin Okami do his thing with David Branch. I'll watch that, and of course with Tito and Bonner and all the horse shit with them. As much shit as I just talked about it, I want to watch that fight. Michael Chandler, but at the end of the day, Mark Hunt. The coolest story in MMA as far as I'm concerned. This fucking guy. Has an awesome story. Fabricio Verdum's cool. I've been watching the Latino Ultimate Fighter, so I'm kind of invested in Fabricio at this point. I dig the international expansion. I'm stoked to see what kind of talent comes out of Mexico. It fucking sucks that Kane got hurt, but all things considered, man, the UFC is still having their first event in Mexico this weekend. And at the end of the day, that most certainly has to trump everything else. For me.
Yeah. What do you think, Nick?
I'm in the same boat. I'm gonna have to watch UFC 180, even though I'm not watching it, which sucks because I have to work. But I would watch UFC 180. You have, even though Kane's not in it, that made me so mad. But you got Kevin Gastelum's fighting on the card, and it's just that's the better card that's on TV right now. Or that's on at that moment. Now, second, I'm going Bellator because one, I want to see Bonner kill Tito Ortiz. I'm tired of his ass. I want to see Will Brooks, and I want to see King Mo. I love King Mo. I think he's awesome. And then did we forget about Nan Fan coming back to the UFC fighting?
Yeah, Nan Fan was in the UFC for a very long time, and then he lost a lot, a lot, and then he got kicked out. So yeah, he's coming back to fighting.
I like his attitude. It's just, yeah, he sucks, but he's back in the. Well, his fights overseas that he won were very, very good. But let's see what he does in Bellator, and maybe he'll make a name for himself, somehow get back in the UFC.
Yeah, so let's look at the looking at World Series of Fighting. Their main card has I forgot her first name, and World Series of Fighting. If you're for some reason watching, one of your people's watching, can you make your goddamn website work so I can click on the fucking card, you douchebags? I can't see anything. But they have Aguilar against Faria as their one women's fight. Then Gaethje against Gallard, which should be a fun ass fight. Gallard he's still a fucking top notch fighter. I know Fred's a fan.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Gallard's a beast, man. I mean, he's got horrible fight IQ, man. But I mean, and listen, this is what I meant about these other organizations. Justin Gaethje is interesting. He's a big question mark. I don't know what to think about this kid, and I'm glad that he's actually going to fight someone like Melvin Gillard, man. This is a good. I'm really super stoked on this fight because we get to find out, really how legit Justin Gaethje is. You know what I'm saying? Melvin Gillard's no joke, man. He's got a lot of firepower, and we'll find out how good Justin Gaethje is Saturday night for sure.
Yeah, Nick, you're a Gillard fan too?
Yes, I love Gallard, but even though he has that glass jaw sometimes, but he can deliver, and I love his attitude. He just goes in, throws punches, goes for the knockout every time, and I love his fighting style.
For sure. So then after them is Fred's favorite fighter, Yushin Okami, taking on David Branch, because we know Fred likes watching humping points and shit, and so I'm messing. But that actually is an interesting fight just for the fact that it's Yushin Okami, and I think it's either the first or second time we see him out of the UFC. So that's World Series of Fighting. Bellator is on the same night from San Diego, California. We already talked about Nam Pham. He's taking on Mike Richmond. Melvin Manhoef, a guy who's just balls out, no fucks given type of fighter, fun dude that just wants to take people's heads off, taking on a relatively inexperienced Joe Schilling. That guy's 1-3 as a professional. But what's that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you know anything about Joe Schilling though?
Nope, I've seen his SureDog page. Doesn't tell you much. The guy, like I said, the guy's kind of a no name.
No, but listen though, check it out, man. Joe Schilling comes from a K1 background, and he is a fucking beast. Listen, I forgot all about that fight. Manhoef and Joe Schilling is going to be great. And just a little side story, since you're a fucking Diaz fan, as am I. Check this out. Joe Schilling went and trained with Nick Diaz, right? First day in the gym, Joe Schilling said that him and Nick Diaz, Nick, man. Nick is kind of mean mugs motherfuckers. And the first day in the gym, he said Nick was kind of giving the mean mug, and him and Nick started sparring. And he's like, we kind of had a schoolyard fight, so to speak. Like we sparred, and we went really hard with each other, and we kind of gained a little bit of respect. And after that sparring session, Joe Schilling said that him and Nick Diaz have been like really, really cool since then, and they've been training a lot together and shit. So his MMA record looks a little shoddy on the surface, but go back and watch some of his shit in K1. He's a fucking dynamite striker, and the fact that he's fighting Manhoef is fucking perfect. Like, I'll give Scott Coker that, Jack. He knows his kickboxing shit, and those two dudes, that's going to be a fucking dynamite fight.
Yeah, so it should be a nice striking war for that one. And then Nick's buddy King Mo is going to take on Joe Vedepo. I don't know much about Vedepo. I know King Mo, and King Mo is kind of up and down quite a bit. Nick, what do you think he's going to do in this fight?
Do what he usually does, go in there and not give any fucks and try to get the win. But I don't know anything about his opponent. He's 17-8, but I don't know. King Mo, I'm always King Mo. No matter who he's fighting, I'm always going King Mo. I like his attitude. I like the whole crown shit. I don't know. I was a pro wrestling fan when I was a kid. I kind of still am when I see The Rock on TV because I'm addicted to that guy. But yeah, no, I'm going King Mo all the way.
What do you think, Fred?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Vedepo is an ex-UFC guy, completely middle-of-the-road fighter, and if I'm not mistaken, he's a late replacement for somebody else too. So there's almost a mortal certainty that Joe Vedepo's getting murked Saturday night. I
Man, very
think,
likely.
yeah, King Mo's going to do his thing for sure. King Mo's a great fighter, man. He's had an interesting career, some nasty injuries and setbacks, but you know, I like you said, or like your dude said, I loved his persona when he was in Japan, coming out with all the Asian broads and the crown. I love that shit, man. So yeah, I fuck with Mo, and he should dominate that fight.
Yeah. Then for the lightweight world title, I believe did they make Will Brooks the outright champ, or is he still interim?
I think he's
He's champ.
outright.
Yeah, he's champ, I think.
He's champ. Okay. Yeah, because I know once Eddie Alvarez left to the UFC, that title was vacant. But okay, so he's a straight up champ. He's defending against Michael Chandler. I don't know if you guys, I mean, you guys watched that last fight where Will Brooks ended up beating him?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually quite a fun fight for me. I love watching that. So, do you guys think Michael Chandler has what it takes to get his title back, or is he going to be the next guy that goes to the UFC? Because I like seeing Michael Chandler in the UFC. That'd be badass for me.
I hope he goes to the UFC, but I do think he can win this fight. I think he will win this fight this time. I think it was a classic case of him just thinking he was a lot better than Will. I think that this time he'll take the fight a lot more seriously, and I think Chandler will get the win. But it would be sweet to see him in the UFC. I mean, of a handful of guys outside of the UFC right now, he's one of the ones I would really like to see in the UFC. So
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Nick?
Same. I want to see him in the UFC, but I want to see him win this fight and go to the UFC. Like Eddie Alvarez was champ. Why can't Chandler be champ and go to the UFC too? He's a great fighter. I like him. I want to see what he can do in the stacked lightweight division that's in the UFC now with everybody. So I want to see that. I want to see him fight Henderson. That'd be a sick fight.
How crazy is it that not too long ago we were talking about Gilbert Melendez possibly being in Bellator? How nutty would that be? Like, and I mean, it's good that he didn't. I think because that's a fight against Pettis is going to be awesome. But
Yeah.
I mean, Bellator's lightweight division was so stacked, and then they lost out on Melendez, and then they lost to Alvarez. So you're basically down to Michael Chandler and Will Brooks, and Will Brooks isn't even that big of a name right now. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, Bellator's got their problems. They'll deal with them how they will. Then the main event, the circus of it all, is Tito Ortiz against Stephan Bonner. Again, two UFC Hall of Famer guys who want to pretend like they hate each other and like they actually have some legit beef and they want to get in there and throw down. I don't know what to think of this fight. I'm not really interested in it, but again, for me, it's like a car crash. Like you see it there, you have to stare at it as you're driving by. You just have to fucking look for some fucking reason. So I'm definitely gonna watch that one. But what do you guys, Fred? What do you think of this one?
okay, so this fight could literally not be more irrelevant. You know, in the grand scheme of things, it could literally not matter less. I guess my thing with this fight is, as a fight, is it going to suck or not? Is it going to be a good fight? I wonder if I mean, because both of them are completely irrelevant at this point, but I just wonder if it'll be a good fight. Tito looked good against Shlemenko, but Shlemenko's not very. Yeah, he's fucking tiny. I mean, that's Tito Ortiz like fucking fighting his little cousin, man. Like, he does not get a whole lot of props for that fight. I mean, that was an okay win, but he was way bigger than that dude. Stephan Bonner, if anything, is a very big man. Tito ain't knocking nobody out in a month of Sundays. So, I just when I envision this fight in my mind, I don't even really care who wins because it doesn't matter really. Like neither one of these, it doesn't matter. I just kind of wonder if it's got the potential to even be a fun fight or whether it's just going to be a fucking slot fest with two old athletes way past their prime, man.
Yeah, what do you think, Nick?
I don't know.
Same. I think it's just two old athletes just past their prime, trying to get paid. I think the first round is going to be they're just going to swing, go at it, and then second round they're both going to be gassed. And just
I think Tito Ortiz.
on.
Yeah, I think Tito Ortiz is going to try and take this one to the ground and just ground and pound it because Stephan Bonner is always game to be a fucking psycho out there. So. So and then that's going to be that's Bellator 131. Then we have UFC 180. I'll just quickly go through the first two fights on here. In the main card, we got Edgar Garcia against Hector Urbina, then Augusto Montano against Chris Heatherly, and then the first fight that I find interesting. And obviously this whole card's gonna be good because you actually have the guys from Tough Latin America on here, but those guys are really good. Like Teco, Jose Quinones, and Marco Beltran are pretty good. But you also have Ricardo Lamas against Dennis Bermudez. I mean, that's got to be a really fun fight, right, Fred?
Yeah, for sure. That at least you still got that fight. I kind of forgot about that fight with all the bullshit that this card has went through. Ricardo Lamas and Dennis Bermudez will still be a really, really fun fight. And although I had a lot of fun with the Latino Ultimate Fighter this season, side note right quick, you've been watching the episodes, right, Eddie?
Right, yeah.
Did you see your boy Ninja get knocked out again, like officially?
Yeah, no, it was about time.
Yeah. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That cute cocksucker had been cocky the whole show, and then he did kind of get fucked on that one fight, and you almost feel bad for the guy, and then he kept running his mouth, and then he finally got started.
He would not shut the fuck up about it. I was like, dude, let it look, it's over. Let it go. You're not gonna go back and change it.
Sweet karmatic justice that he got his ass dusted. But yeah, man, I think this card is still going to be a lot of fun. I'm fucking pumped, man. I want to see who the first couple of the Mexican Latino Ultimate Fighter winners are going to be, man. It sucks that Kane got hurt, but this show still has a lot of significance and shit, man. First show in Mexico, and honestly, these international crowds are always interesting to me, dog. I love the international crowd, the fucking ole, 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 ole. That shit's tight, man. And it's like every country's got their own thing. And I'm kind of stoked. Like, that's interesting to me. I wonder what Mexico's going to do that's going to, like, make them stand out, like, and add their own personal vibe to it. They're going to be fucking going ham when the Mexicans come out to fight and shit. So it's going to be fun, man.
Learn some of the Spanish cuss words. There's gonna be a lot of putos and shit flying around everywhere. You watch any of the World Cup? They actually during the World Cup, this last one, they actually criticized the Mexican team. The Mexican team. What they call it El Tricolor or whatever. But El Tri, they criticized the crowd, the fans, for literally cussing the other team out. You know what I mean? Calling them putos and a bunch of other shit. It was freaking hilarious to me. So I mean, I'd be hanging out with my friends watching it. We're all in Mexico jerseys. We're yelling the same shit. Like, we're part of the crowd too. We don't give a fuck, But I think we're about to see something new with this Mexico crowd. And again, had Kane not gotten hurt, this would have been a lot bigger. That crowd would have exploded. Now that Kane's not there, now that Diego Sanchez is out as well, it's not going to be as great. People are going to criticize Mexico saying, oh, it's not as good as Ireland. It's not as good as Brazil. And I think it could be better than both of those places. But the fact that their two heroes aren't on the damn card is definitely going to hurt it. At the same time, just like you were saying before, they still have a fucking stacked card, and they should be cheering on these tough Latin American kids because they're fucking killers and they're legit fighters.
Well, and listen, not to cut you off or nothing, Eddie, but also, these cats are real Mexicans. As much as I fuck with Kane was born in Arizona, Jack. These people had fucking Tijuana. Like, these motherfucking dudes, these Mexicans better be there cheering, and they will be. They'll be there cheering because these dudes are, fucking for real from Mexico. A lot of these guys that were on that show. Like, these dudes are really from their fucking hometown, man. So there was a couple guys that were actually from Mexico City, correct?
Yeah. And in fact, half of Team Mexico was from my hometown. I'm originally from Guadalajara, Mexico, and so half those guys are from my hometown, and so I was kind of like I think that's why I got invested in Tough Latin America the most, because it was dudes that grew up on the streets that I grew up in, hang up for like half my life or a quarter of my life, but still. It's you're right. That crowd should be behind those guys for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but all right. So talk about the co-main. We have Jake Ellenberger and Kelvin Gastelum. Now Kelvin had problems making weight the last couple fights, and he kind of semi-apologized to Mike Dolce for it, and I guess he's gonna hire him again, or he hired him again. Mike Dolce aside, the whole bullshit he has with BJ Penn and people calling him a liar and a fake. What does Kelvin Gastelum do against Jake Ellenberger? Fred?
Okay, first off, I almost don't want to say this, but since we're on the late night show and we're getting wild,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta say, Kelvin Gastelum don't strike me as a fucking Mexican.
yeah.
Just for the fucking record, he seems like he's pretty. They're reaching with old Kelvin. But that aside, um, Kelvin Gastelum's another one, man. I don't know how good he is. I'm glad this fight's being made because he seems like he's got a lot of talent, but Jake Ellenberger's a big step up in competition. I don't really know. It's such a hard fight to call. Jake Ellenberger's one of those guys too, man. It's going to be kind of easy to get behind Gastelum in this fight because he's kind of got the hype and all that. But Jake Ellenberger's a beast, man. He fucking punches hard. He's got really good wrestling. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ellenberger knock him out, honestly. As much as I hate to do that to the home crowd boy, Ellenberger's no joke, man. And I think that Ellenberger knows if he loses this fight, he'll be on that train to Bellator before too long. And this is a crossroads for Ellenberger, so to speak, man. He needs to win this fight to stay relevant for sure.
yeah. Nick.
I love Jake. Wow. I love Jake Ellenberger. He's awesome. But Kelvin Gastelum, he's that new breed of fighter. I love it. I think he's gonna come out and shock the world. He's that new breed of fighter. I loved him on The Ultimate Fighter. He's 10-0. He's that guy. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's truly Mexican, but I'm not truly Mexican. I have this right here. I don't know if you see the boxing gloves with
Yeah,
Mexican
yeah,
flag. I'm not truly Mexican. I'm Mexican, but I'm adopted. But long ass story. But I'm in his boat. I'm with Kelvin. I think he's gonna be awesome.
I actually got a pair of those gloves too, but they're put away in a nice plastic bag, clean and everything. I might actually hang those up. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Kelvin's a reach. But hey man, at this point, you take what you can get with that card, especially with all the fucking injuries.
Damn right.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. So speaking of injuries, so Cain Velasquez blows his knee out, has to get surgery. He's out for easily probably spring next year. But so Mark Hunt gets the call up to take on Fabricio Verdun for the interim title. Just like Fred was saying, no better story out right now than Mark Hunt finally getting a shot at the title in the UFC. This guy's had championships before, pride, all that. But finally getting a shot at a UFC title, huge for Mark Hunt. So, Fred, does he take advantage of it? Does he get this belt, or does he fall to Fabricio?
Man, this is so interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to say about any of this. Yeah, this is a guy who got fucking snuffed out by Sean Big Sexy McCourt. So on one instance, you say, if Sean fucking McCorkle can submit this dude, there is no reason that Fabricio Verdum does not buzzsaw him and submit him easily. But what I can't wrap my head around is who Mark Hunt is. Who is that dude that got submitted by Sean McCorkle, and who is this dude that just knocked out Big Country? And I mean, it's like they're two different guys, man. The Mark Hunt that got knocked out by Manhoof and submitted by McCorkle gets destroyed by Verdum easily, like straight snuff style. But the Mark Hunt of recent that is able to knock guys out with these one-punch walk-off knockouts that are just majestic looking as fuck. I mean, I would say that Fabricio is the favorite, and quite frankly, in a weird way, as like you said, I mean, the ultimate Cinderella story, bigger than shit. He's fighting for an interim belt. I mean, who would not love to see Mark Hunt get this fucking win? But having watched the reality show and also feeling like Verdum is the second best heavyweight on the planet, I kind of want to see him get the win because I kind of feel like him and Cain need to fight for us to keep that hierarchy in order. Could Hunt come out and straight blast Verdum? You betcha. Like, he could come out and straight blast him out of his senses all day long like it ain't nothing. But I do feel like Verdum overall is the better fighter, and I kind of just want to get to see that Verdum-Cain match sometime in the future. So as much as I'd love to see Hunt win, and I would not be sad about that, Verdum's been in Mexico for a month of Sundays. He's acclimated. He's got all the skills in the world. He's in his prime. I see no reason why Verdum doesn't win this fight.
No, that's very damn good point. Nick, what do you think, man?
I'm calling it now. Put it on the record. Mark Hunt, second round walk-off knockout. Done. It's it's like you said, perfect Cinderella story. I like Mark Hunt, even though he got submitted by whoever the fuck. He's gonna one punch knockout Verdum. First round he's gonna get taken out. He's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get beat up. He's gonna get manhandled. But then once he comes out that second round, he's gonna survive. Boom, done. I want to see Mark Hunt as a champ, and I want to see him fight Kane. And now Kane will probably destroy him, but it was going to be a good fight. And yes, I think that Verdum-Cain Velasquez fight should happen, but I don't think it's going to happen right now. I think it's going to be Mark Hunt's going to get this win.
Yeah, I mean, because I want to see that story, man. I want to see Mark Hunt get that title finally. It'd be an awesome story, and then a depressing end to it once Kane fucks him up. But I gotta go with Fred, man. Fabricio is just. First of all, in his last fight, we saw the improved striking. We saw very improved striking. He's not just gonna, he doesn't have to jump guard anymore. I mean, he did it against Alistair Overeem, and Overeem was like, "Nah, dude, get the fuck up, get up." But, he wasn't gonna fuck with a high caliber kickboxer like Alistair Overeem, and he's not. I don't think he's gonna want to stand with Mark Hunt too long. I think he will, in order to lull him to his own game and then jump guard and take him down. This fight's gonna end up on the ground. And it's going to end with Fabricio probably, rear naked choke or armbar or something. But it's going to be finished on the ground. I think Fabricio gets the win. But damn, I would not be mad if Mark Hunt shocks the world, gets that belt, and tells what did he say? Something about how he's he'll knock you out and fuck your black belt or something like that. He was talking about Fabricio Verdum's jiu-jitsu black background. But yeah, I would not hate that at all. So yeah, so 3 events, three different sets of fights to watch. I'm going to be covering UFC 180 for CrossBonesMMA.com. And I'm going to have to keep an eye on Bellator and World Series fighting somehow, some way. I'll set up TVs or some shit, but definitely going to be all around that. So yeah, so this is a pretty good first episode, I think. What we're going to try and do here is we want to keep everything so relaxed. So we didn't prepare for shit for any of this. We just kind of just went, and everything was honest. Everything was good. I mean, you saw with the cuss words, it was definitely nothing edited. So we're not really going to schedule these that much. We'll just if we get people to come and jump on, we'll do it. If you want to be involved, hit me up on Twitter at elaw31. Let me know. We'll see what we can work out. So that's going to be it for the first one. So I appreciate you fellas joining me. So Fred, I'll catch you on later, man.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. And believe me, we'll have you back again as soon as possible. And Nick, Nick, I'll be talking to you tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, man. You guys have a good night.
You too.
All right, fella.
Later.
Later.